morning, everyone. I'm Rita Bennett, VP of Corporate Communications with Great Bear Resources. Not physically at Great Bear Resources, but part of Great Bear Resources. I'm here with Chris Taylor, our President and CEO today, and we just wanted to provide a quick update as to what's been going on lately. And also want to see Chris's face. I don't see him enough, I don't think, at least not anymore.
Yeah, nobody's here in the office today, Rita. I am as socially distanced as possible because I have the entire floor of this building to myself.
Well, there you go. There you can make as much noise as you want, have as many phone calls and as loud as you want. So lots of stuff been going on. It's been very odd not being in the office. Obviously, we've been working together for quite some time. So
Yep, yeah. 4 years now, I think, right?
Yeah, probably one of my longer relationships. We've seen a lot of things happen in the last little while. So I wanted to kind of get your thoughts on what's been going on in the market and how that's been affecting us.
Okay, well, the market at large is going through a phase of determining how much it views gold as a hedge against economic shocks and how much it views it as a hedge against inflation. So I think we've come off the summer boil and we're into now the period where seems to be probably a consolidation here around $1,800 an ounce. In terms of the gold exploration companies, it really depends on the assets. I think most companies have come off a little bit, but the high quality stories are still getting quite a bit of traction, and they're seeing ongoing institutional participation in financings and in the market, etc.
Yeah, so still good things as far as Great Bear is concerned. So really excited about that. On top of that, we've put out some news lately. One being the geological modeling that's coming out that we're going to be doing a webinar for on the 30th of November at 9 a.m. Pacific. Tell me a little bit about what the objective was behind that.
Well, you know that we like to do a fairly fulsome update for shareholders pretty much a couple times a year, sometimes a few times a year. I mean, the project has been steadily growing, right? Like if I think about when we started working together, I think it was 2017, we didn't know about the LP fault at all. We hadn't found the hinge zone yet. Basically, we were just getting going with the project as a whole. But it's just steadily growing. Like we put out today, what was it, another 18 holes. So that brings us to just about 200 drill holes completed in the LP fault as we stand right now. I think there's over 220 that are drilled, which we're waiting for assays back from. So when you think about the model that we got out, it's really a desire on our part to communicate as clearly as we can and to make sure that every shareholder has pretty much the same understanding of what the project currently is and what the project may become if we continue to be successful as we have been for the past number of years.
Great. So that's the reason we put that together. And again, like you always say, the assays, everything is available on our website for download. But this will make it a little bit more clear, especially with you and Bob walking through it. I know people really enjoy that. So again, that's on November 30th. And if anybody needs the registration link for that, that is in the last two news releases. And you just go through there and it'll walk you through the registration process. So another piece of news we recently put out was Paula Rogers has been added to our board of directors. Mm-hmm. Tell me a little bit about that.
Well, it's part of the growth process here with Great Bear is making sure that we're built to the right specifications at every stage of the process. It sounds a little abstract in a way, but Great Bear was built as a very, very successful exploration company. And, that was principally getting Bob involved with the company early on, building out the team of geologists that we have with Romania Exploration. Now we've been building out the team in the office, as you well know, Rita. So we have a good chunk of the floor here now. And, what we need is people that are familiar with large project builds. So we've been successful. We found these major zones at Dixie. We continue to make new gold discoveries as we go, but it's pretty obvious to us, although it is relatively early days, we don't even have the maiden resource out, but it's pretty obvious to us that we're looking at a major sort of tier one type asset. We know it's a tier one type jurisdiction, and that means that we're going to be looking at a project here that we strongly believe is going to be a major mine. And that means bringing people like Paula in. And Paula's background includes work, like she was a foundational member of Gold Corp, for instance, Wheaton Precious Metals, these kind of groups. And it gives her the background in large project financing and a familiarity with the commodities markets. Like I remember, she was in charge of selling all the silver that was all the silver contracts that were associated with wheat and precious. So, I mean, you're looking here at somebody that has also done project financing to the
Mhm.
tune of like $3.5 billion. Like this is the kind of combination financing of debt and equity that you need to build these major mines. And one that she was we were talking about when we were talking about bringing her on the board was this Pueblo Viejo mine in the Dominican Republic. That's now owned and operated jointly by Barrick and Newmont. So it's a major tier one mine. It was a multi-billion-dollar financing and build. And you know, if you're looking for somebody with experience like Mike Kenyon, like Paula, you know, these are the people that we've been adding that are familiar with building the kind of projects that we need to build here with Great Bear, because we think Dixie is going to be one of these tier one type assets.
Wonderful. So yeah, some little known information about Paula, but I think really, really interesting for shareholders and management to know as well. So so great names, geological modeling, Paula Rogers, lots of stuff been going on in the background, obviously. But today, just quickly, I know that we're going to be providing some highlights on today's news. So some more drill results in the LP fault. Can you give us some highlights about that, and then basically just an overview of how many holes, what we've got left, what we're looking at? I know a lot of people ask me all the time, hey, what's going on with the rest of the drill program? So I know we're well on our way, but if we could just get some numbers, that would be great.
So,
All the drills, they're all the news release, but you know, it's nice to hear it from Chris because it's easier.
well, you know, some of the stuff that we're drilling recently, I guess it becomes less about each individual drill hole and more about consistency. And when I think about the project that way, there's a lot of companies and a lot of quote unquote discoveries that sort of come and go, right? Like if you think about the last 3 or 4 years, we've seen other companies rise, and then reality sets in. You know, and they end up sort of declining, you know, because they have a few good holes, or maybe the first 5, 6 holes are pretty good. And generally after that, it's hard to keep up the momentum because it's hard to come up with a brand new major discovery. They're just very, very rare, right? So what you see though with Great Bear, it's almost the total opposite. It's like the excitement of being absolutely boring. And in that sense, like it's a hard thing to explain, but you know, you think about it like, you know, and I'm just going to off the cuff you with this one, Rita, but like, what do you think we spent on promotion in 2020 as a company?
Well,
Putting you on the spot.
the thing is, that's my main job. Oh, but I can't imagine it'd be over, you know, 200,000. I mean, that's like nothing. That's a drop in the bucket when it comes to the junior mining world.
Yeah, I would say you're probably closer to 100,000 because we haven't had the travel expenses. So the programs and everything else. I mean, these videos don't cost us anything, but you know, we spent probably I would guess about 22 to 23 million dollars this year, of which you know, non-exploration driving work was about maximum 200 grand. So like 99% of the money that we spend is exploration, and it just means like we're boring in the sense that we just want to drill more holes. We just want to get more results, and we just want to keep putting meat on the bones of these zones at Dixie. And that's really it here. So today we came out with numbers. There was like 100 meters of more than 4.5 grams per ton gold. You know, in the middle of that, you get several meters of very high grade, like over an ounce kind of material. But just section after section, when you're going across it, you're getting many, many meters of multi-gram material, and it's always cored by this high grade, you know, 10 grams, half an ounce, you know, material, or up to a few ounces of material in the middle of the zone. And we see this section after section after section.
Yeah.
Today we put out a series of 18 holes over, I think it was about 1.5 kilometers, which included about 1 kilometer worth of drill fences over the middle of the LP fault. And it's just consistent. So that consistency is just something you don't typically see because you're looking at the early days of what we feel, like I said, is a major discovery. And, you know, you can promote and you can hype off of a few holes, but after you get to something like 200 holes, or in our case, I think 350 holes that we've drilled so far at Dixie, you know, really the proof is in those drill results, and we keep hitting, and it keeps growing.
Yeah. So consistency makes us boring, but that's okay because everybody's winning. So the other thing actually that I do get, the other question I do get is what are we going to do with the drills? Like, where are they going to be placed in the next little while in the next year? Like, where are they going to do that drilling? Is it going to be mainly at the LP fault, or what does that look like? And I'm sure we're going to address a lot of these questions during the geological model webinar. But we do get these a lot, so hopefully you can shed some light on that.
Well, as you know, we're basically doing a resource definition drill program here. So we're expanding these drill holes that we come up with. They expand the system steadily on its edges, like basically down along strike. These kind of things. But you need to go back. We have unfinished business at the Dixie Limb. We have unfinished business at the Hinge Zone, the Arrow Zone, and we have a hell of a lot of unfinished business at the LP Fault. So I think in terms of rigs, you're going to see at least 5 rigs going throughout the remainder of the year and going all through 2021. And it wouldn't hurt us to actually get some additional drills to continue targeting on the Hinge and the Dixie Limb as well as the LP. Because effectively, like, we've got the budget for it and we really like what we see. Anybody that follows the news knows we keep hitting good results in all these areas. So it wouldn't hurt us to do that. Like recently I was mentioning, we've increased our core shack capacity in Red Lake. So we've got a new facility that we brought on. So basically, I think you're looking at an opportunity here to really do things properly in 2021. It looks like, knock on wood, but we've got all the COVID, considerations under control. We're dealing with local staffing on the projects, which is really helping us operate efficiently. And we think over the long term that this is going to be a really good recipe for success, or I should probably say ongoing success.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. And every time I go out to Red Lake, it looks completely different. There's another core shack, there's another core shack, there's all these workers, and it's wonderful and it's great to see, but definitely a huge change from my first trip out there about 3 years ago. I don't think people even know who we are sometimes when we get there. So, all right.
Well, now they definitely do. That's a really nice thing. It's good to go through the community. Everybody knows Great Bear. Everybody's really excited about the project. I was just talking to the mayor a few weeks ago, and they're really very much willing to help in any way that they can. We're really happy with our First Nations partners at Wabasca and Lac Seul. So it's been just going exceptionally well. We're no longer that little 20 or 30 cent company when you first went on site. Pretty much, we've got a real group of support there in town.
Exactly. So no, that's a wonderful update. I just wanted to get this kind of questions out of the way before we did the big webinar next week. And again, just a reminder to register. The links are on both of our latest 2 news releases, but if you guys need to reach out, you can always reach us at info@greatbearresources.ca. You can certainly call myself, or you can call Nell Tenderson of IR, and you can reach us at 604-646-8354. Anything else we wanted to include today, Chris?
No, I just think, again, if you tune into the webinar, you should get a pretty good idea off of the size, the continuity. And Bob's done some great work lately on defining the high grade zones within the LP Fault. We all know it's a big, broad target, but today's results were pretty indicative that you see these wide sort of disseminated gold intervals around the high grade. It looks really fascinating when you see just the continuity and the sheet-like geometries on these various high-grade zones over kilometers of strike length. I mean, it looks really impressive. Hats off to the geological team for getting it to the point where it's at now. And that's just something that's going to keep growing over the course of the next year or so. Anyway, hats off to those guys that have done a hell of a job. I think everybody's going to get a real kick out of seeing it spin around in 3D.
Yeah, that'll be pretty cool. Okay, well, anybody with any questions, like I said, always reach out to us. And thanks for your time, Chris. I know you're really busy, and we will talk soon.
Okay, see you later, Rita.
Have a great day.